middle schoolers. My name is Sophie Campbell and I am a UNCP nursing student. I am here today to discuss with you all the importance of exercise. So to start off with one simple question, what is exercise? Well, exercise is physical activity that is planned, structured, and repetitive for the purpose of conditioning the body. At the end of this presentation, I would like for you all to tell me the physical activity recommendations for your age group, some examples of exercises or games that fall under each type of physical activity, as well as why physical activity is so important for our health. Well, what are some exercises? Exercises can range anywhere from walking to jogging to running. Well, let's think of some more detailed exercises that y'all may do as middle schoolers. What is this used for? Basketball, right? Do any of y'all play basketball? Well, basketball is definitely an exercise. People running up and down the court trying to shoot it in the basket. All right, well, what about this? Golf. Golf is definitely an exercise. What about this? Tennis. Tennis is definitely an exercise. It can be a very competitive sport as well. What about these? Goggles. Goggles are used for what? Swimming, right? Swimming is definitely an exercise that works many muscles in your body. And what about this? A weight. Weights are used for what? Lifting weights, which is definitely an exercise. So, let me see a raise of hands on how many of you love PE. All of you. Well, good. Raise your hand if it's your favorite extracurricular course. Well, it was my favorite too when I was your age. It was always a time for me to get my energy out throughout the day, as well as a time to have fun with my friends outside of the classroom. I would get so tired of sitting in the same desk chair for hours on hours, trying to pay attention to my teacher, and I would just keep getting distracted. PE was a nice small break in between classes that helped me regain my attentiveness and got me back eager to learn in the classroom. Do you know why PE and exercise is a part of your curriculum in school? Well, regular physical activity in childhood and adolescence is important for promoting lifelong health and well-being, as well as preventing various health conditions. The Physical Activity Guidelines for Americans recommend that children and adolescents aged 6 to 17 years do 60 minutes or more of moderate to vigorous physical activity. So this is your age group. How many of you exercise or play sports outside of school or on the weekends? Well, good, a lot of you. Well, that's awesome. The more physical activity, the better. Many of you are still growing, and adequate exercise is essential for bone growth and health. There are 3 types of physical activity that are recommended by the CDC: aerobic, muscle strengthening, and bone strengthening. Well, let's talk about them. Aerobic exercise promotes the circulation of oxygen through the blood, which also leads to an increased breathing rate. Muscle strengthening and bone strengthening are pretty straightforward. They're exercises that improve muscle or bone strength. Can any of you tell me some exercises that fall under each category? What about basketball? What category do you think basketball falls under? Aerobic, good. Running, tag, and certain sports such as soccer, basketball, tennis, swimming are all classified as aerobic exercises. It is recommended that most of the 60 minutes or more per day should be either moderate or vigorous intensity aerobic physical activity on at least 3 days a week. So what are some of your favorite activities or games to play during PE? Do any of you like lifting weights? Do any of you like doing sit-ups or push-ups? Well, what would these exercises be classified as? Muscle strengthening, good. It is recommended that as part of the 60 minutes or more of daily activity, children and adolescents should include muscle strengthening on at least 3 days a week. So what about bone strengthening exercises? Hopping, volleyball, skipping, gymnastics are all examples of bone strengthening exercises. It is recommended that as part of their 60 minutes or more of daily activity, children and adolescents should include bone strengthening physical activity at least 3 days a week as well. Physical activity can also influence your academic achievement. It has been acknowledged that students who are physically active tend to have better grades, better school attendance, better cognitive performance, and better classroom behaviors. So now that you know all the benefits of physical activity and the recommendations for your age group, what could physical inactivity do to your health? Well, if physical activity is being active and exercising, what is physical inactivity? Physical inactivity is just the opposite, right? When a person is physically inactive, they do not exercise or meet the physical activity recommendations for their age group. So what are some consequences of not being physically active? Okay, well, let's think about it. We all know physical activity during PE helps us to get rid of some of our energy that is just waiting to get out. So if we don't exercise or have any type of physical activity, that energy can just stay locked up inside of us, which can lead to energy imbalances, right? As well as keeping you distracted. If we expend less energy through physical activity than consume through our diet, we are at an increased risk of becoming overweight or obese. The more calories a food has, the more energy it can provide for our bodies. Therefore, when you eat more calories than you need, your body stores those extra calories as body fat, and that is how we gain weight. Did you know that the leading cause of death in the United States is obesity? We can modify those risks. One way to modify your risk for becoming obese is to exercise on a regular basis. It's as simple as that. I stated earlier that physical activity is also important for preventing various health conditions. So if we don't have regular physical activity, what can that lead to? Physical inactivity can increase your risk for certain diseases or health conditions such as diabetes or diseases related to your heart, so serious stuff. It can also cause your blood pressure to rise, which can develop into hypertension. Hypertension has the ability to damage organs and increase your risk even further for developing heart conditions, such as a heart attack. Physical inactivity can also lead to weakness of bones. Therefore, it's easier for you to break your bones during exercises or accidents. So what have you learned today besides the importance of physical activity? You have learned recommendations of physical activity for your age group, exercises that fall under each type of physical activity, the aerobic, muscle, and bone strengthening, such as playing soccer. What would playing soccer fall under? Which category? Aerobic exercise, good. You have also learned about the consequences physical inactivity can have on your health. With all this, you can take into consideration and know the importance of exercise daily. So, do you think it is important to exercise daily? Well, the answer is 100% yes. It is extremely important to exercise on a regular basis, which is why schools implement 60 minutes of daily physical activity into your schedule, whether it be through PE or recess. That is what I want you to take away from this presentation, the impact of physical activity or exercise on your health. It can affect your physical well-being as well as your mental well-being by altering your cognitive ability. Always try and meet the recommendations for your age group for physical activity. Exercising more is better than exercising less. Any exercise is better than no exercise. And always try to hit those recommendations to gain optimal health. And that is it. Thank you.